Hello, my dear friends. I wanted to take a minute to just talk about one of my favorite topics. It's actually one of the things that I think distinguishes me from most coaches, and it's my ability to help my clients come in and have clarity around what it is that they're doing, how it is that they're showing up in the world. Um, One of the things that I think is really important, especially for women business owners, we have so many competing priorities, right? There's things that are pulling at us each and every day, everything from family to our children to our school functions to our business and even just social, right? Our friends, those relationships that add value in our lives. And so it's important to have clarity in terms of where we want to be spending that time and that energy because we want to be able to get the best output from that. And I was talking to another business owner recently, and they asked, why is clarity such a big deal? And in terms of my work, it's a big deal because the work that I do with my clients, we're able to, number one, lay out everything that they're accountable for, right? So from a business perspective, what are those competing priorities that are out there, right? Is it marketing? Is it sales? Is it operations? And what is it that they need to do? What are those things as a CEO that they need to direct contact with so that they can continue to move the business, right? Because if they don't show up, then the business is going to grow, the business isn't going to do what it needs to do. And so having clarity around those business priorities and then being able to prioritize those things and being able to spend the right amount of energy so that those things can continue to move that business forward, right? Same thing with our families. I shared with you guys, if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm a mom of 5 children, and one of those children is a special needs child. And so those priorities are different because I actually have to take time away from my work and actually go to therapy a couple times a week. I have to do special appointments. I have to do special things to be able to really invest the time that I feel she needs to be able to get to her development. At this juncture, she's 5 years old, and we kept her out of school for a year, and now we need to get her ready. She went to a preschool, but she needs to be able to go into a kindergarten environment where she can really assess and understand the communication aspect of the social world. She struggles. Things like every time I show her the letter K, she blanks out and she doesn't know how to say the letter K. And so those priorities have to come into play because I need to dedicate extra amount of time with her compared to all the other things that I'm doing to make sure that she has a really solid position in life. I think from a clarity perspective, right? It's important as a woman CEO, business owner, that there's always this clear communication. What is it that we need to do so that we can compete, not necessarily compete with everything out there, but really accomplish all the things that are out there, right? So is the vision of my business clear? Like for me specifically, what is the number of women that I want to impact this year? And what kind of programs, right? I have to have a product offering that aligns with me in terms of my high value clients, but then how do I get my message to a greater number of people? So just making sure that my vision, that I've clearly outlined that, it's so important because I can't show up in the world if I don't know what I'm going after, right? And then a big part of having clarity is why. Why is that important? Well, for me specifically, it's important because I want to have purpose in the world, right? I love being a mom. Love being a spouse, having friends and such. But then I also want to contribute. I want to contribute at a different level. And that's where my work in coaching comes in, right? I want to be able to make good decisions about everything, right? My health, making time for that, making time for my family, preparing the right kind of foods. All of those things are very, very important. So clarity is critical in everything that I do, right? It gives me identity. It gives me a sense of, okay, how do I get everything done that really needs to be done, and so that I can feel accomplished, so I can feel good about myself. And so when I lay down at night, you know what? I did everything possible that I could to be able to contribute to society. Another thing that I think is really important, especially when you have a business, is how are you measuring progress? And earlier I talked about vision and the importance of goals and expectations and such, right? But if you don't have clarity around what it is that you're doing, how do you measure how well you're doing it? And it could be a financial number, it could be a customer satisfaction number, even things such as a peace in my home, right? After a certain period of time, I get my kids to bed and then I have that quiet time, right? And so that allowing a structure to bring clarity around how I show up in the world allows me to have some time for me to invest in myself, to things that I love to do, personal development, reading my Bible, just sometimes just sitting outside and talking to my husband, after the kids go to bed. All that stuff is really, really important. And I have to have clarity about who I am and how I show up in the world. And ultimately, I think clarity is just going to allow you, my favorite word, empowerment, right? So that you can overcome whatever obstacles come your way. It's important that you have clarity so that if there's things that are coming at you, like if you start looking at your emails and you realize, hey, they want me to do this, they want me to, you really evaluate, okay, do those things add value? Or is this gonna give me some type of return on investment in terms of my time, my energy, my effort? And really making those choices so that you can feel empowered, so that when things come your way that it's not something you can support, you could kindly say, you know what, at this point I'm going to say no, and I am not going to allow myself to get caught up in some busy work, things that aren't really going to necessarily add to the growth of my business, my personal life, my family. And it's okay to do that, right? As women, we have to be able to say no, because sometimes it's healthy to say no, because I was a people pleaser for a long period of time, and unfortunately I was always tired and I couldn't figure out why. Well, I was saying yes to everyone else but saying no to me, and unfortunately that does take a toll. And so today I just challenge you to look at your life and really understand, okay, do I have clarity about how I show up, what it is that I do, and how I do my work in the world? And if you need some support, that's where I come in. I have a powerful, powerful tool that you can use to assess. It doesn't take very long, but you use this tool to assess where you are and ultimately get you to a place where you can start prioritizing where you need to be so that you can move forward. All right. I appreciate this time. Be well.